Alright, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, guys, we're going to try to see if we can get this old 1990 Chevrolet S10 Blazer 4-wheel drive 4.3 automatic to running and driving again after 7 years of sitting. Can we do it? Let's find out. Alright, so a little behind the scenes. I made a short clip video. You can go check it out in my shorts on YouTube that I actually removed the gas tank, replaced it, put a new fuel pump sitting in it, changed the fuel filter, and I changed the air filter. I checked the fuses. Some of them were blown. I replaced them. One of them was the ECM fuse. I don't know why it blew. I'm hoping it's just because of the old fuel pump that was bad and maybe there's something wrong there. However, the battery's in. Got 5 gallons of gas in, mixed in with a little bit of 50-50 of oil because it's been sitting. It'll help the upper end a little bit, you know, from sitting for so long. But this is the initial first time of it running on its own with its own setup. So let's find out. I've not even primed it or nothing. I'm hoping she'll bark to life without having any issues. Did not hear a fuel pump. Unless it's quiet, I didn't hear it. I guess let's just try to turn it over and see what happens. There we go. She's running. Oh man, look what come out of the exhaust. Yeah, that's gross. It needs an exhaust system, that's for sure. It's running on all 6 so far. I'm sure when it gets warm and it runs more, it's going to have issues with fuel injectors from sitting. Those little dots are supposed to be a tack. None of the gauges work. Everything's down here. The charging temperature's good right now. Oil pressure's actually really good, over 40, so around 50 some psi. I got the rear end jacked up. Let's see if we got any gears. Oh, it might help if I take the brake off. Look at that. Got reverse. Do we have drive? Yep, goes right into gear. Awesome. And the speedometer apparently works. But we have no mileage. And I know what the mileage is. So, alright, now we know she runs. I'm going to go ahead and put her back down on her all 4s. Looks like there's still stuff coming out of that exhaust. Jeez, I gotta get it off the carport. Anyway, go ahead and put it back on its all 4s. And then we'll see if she moves and maybe drive around the block one time. I checked all the fluids, everything's full. I've changed the oil already, as you know in the first video. If you hadn't seen it, go check it out when I brought this thing home. It's got a Wix oil filter. It has 10W30 with a little bit of Lucas in it just because of age, mileage, and sitting. So there's a lot more to do on this thing. It needs vacuum hoses and all that good stuff. But we'll put it on its ground, see if she'll actually move. Maybe check out, see if the 4-wheel drive works. Still got about a 40 psi of oil pressure, and we're almost up to 160 degrees, so that's pretty good for the mileage. 216,000. Alright, I'm committed now. Let's get in on Death Trap here, and I got a fire extinguisher and a bucket of water just in case something goes south. You never know when you bring stuff like this back to life. It's not idling too good either. It's going to have an auto control valve, looks like. Something's rattling underneath. There's second. Second. Third. Looks like fourth. Takes off hard. She's got the beans for a 4-wheel drive Blazer. This sucker hauls. Way different than the 2.8 that I've ever had. I don't see any smokes. That's good. Goes right into gear. No delay, no jerking. Second. It's kind of hesitating after you get into second gear. It's like it bogs down. Third. Fourth. Like we have all of our gears. Well, there's the first test drive after 7 years. It's running on its own after all those time, and I finally got the sucker turned around in the garage. So now it's time for other things that needs to be done. I've already changed the air filter on it, and like I said before, I changed the oil, and oil pressure dropped down quite a bit. It's about 20 pounds. 20 psi at idle with but the problem is it's idling funny. It's not idling correctly. It's idling too low, which is going to make the oil pressure seem lower. The oil pressure part right here at the back where the distributor's at on the 4.3s, where there's supposed to be a sensor, the little nylon line that goes on it that's plastic that you're not supposed to use, which is on this one I'm going to change, is actually cracked, and oil is leaking out of that, so that's not a good thing. I'm going to have to fix that. See if I can get a flashlight back in there to it so you can actually see what I'm talking about here. Yeah. Right down there, you can see the wetness of it. It's all wet, so it's leaking. You know, that's not good. I've got new plugs, new wires for it. I'm gonna change that stuff out. See how she runs after that. That'll probably help. And got the plugs. I'm gonna put AC Delco in it. That's what I run in every GM that I got. So 43, 28, 25, whatever. Always AC Delco. Or even Autolite, but I'm not really a fan of Autolite. I usually use AC Delco or something like that, or NGKs in some vehicles. But anyway, when the sun goes down and it cools down a little bit, I'll get the pressure washer out. We'll clean the other side, or clean this side, I should say, because it needs a bath. Here's before, here's after. And still got little critters running around all over it. Some ants. I should have got it on video, but man, you would not believe how many ants came out of this trim, the luggage rack on top of this. I mean, they were scattered. There was like a pile of them here, a pile of them here, a pile of them over here. You know, they were coming out of this crack hole right here and just running everywhere. Let's see, here's one of them, black ants. But anyway, I took care of that. Old vacuum cleaner sucked them up, and well, that was the last of them. I fixed the door handle on the outside. It's brand new. It actually had a brand new one inside the truck, so I didn't have to spin that. I replaced the window switch with another one from the junkyard, and it actually makes the windows roll up and down faster, so I'm guessing if there was something wrong with the old switch. Lights work, headlights, I believe, and tail lights. You got to fix the cluster issue, because we need to know how much gas is in this thing before I keep driving it any longer, or driving it other places. I don't want to get stranded or burn up that fuel pump. It needs some shampooing, which I'm going to do. I've actually got some parts for this thing. I got seats, front and rear for it. And while I have them out, might as well shampoo the whole carpet and just clean it all up and get rid of that smell. I do have a dash mat for it as well to put on this to cover up all that ugliness, that cracking. But I did put some good old shine juice on it, and it made it come back. It looks really good. But the rest of this stuff is just a mess. Stuff that I've got extra parts for. I'm missing a rear view mirror, so I went to the junkyard, grabbed one of those guys. And yeah. I need to check other things. I need to check the 4-wheel drive. I need to check the blower motor, AC, all that good stuff. I know there's a bunch of rat crap in the HVAC, so really and truly I need to pull the blower motor out and clean it thoroughly, and then put it back together and see what happens after that. And I had AC stuff in here, so I'm guessing the AC worked at one time. Hopefully I can get it working again, because it is too freaking hot for a person like me to be out here. So anyway, now that we know it runs and drives after many years, what else is there to do? Well, I tell you, I have many other plans for this Blazer, and I can't wait to you know, get it cleaned up more. Maybe put some shine juice on the old wheels. Definitely needs an exhaust system. The exhaust on this thing is rotted to pieces, so I'm thinking Flowmaster, single in, dual out. You know, have duals on both sides. Either that or just, you know, single in, single out. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter to me. Whatever the cheapest is, you know, because we're on a budget here. Got to save on the old envelope, you know. So a few upgrades that I've done. I've actually replaced the floor lights. They're actually LEDs now, both of them. And the roof light is actually LED'd. So that's pretty neat. Need to fix the gauges. They move around a little bit. Like I said, shampooing the carpet, changing the seats. Here's the AC hose that was in it when I got it. The driver's side window motor is messing up when you roll it down the window, so I got to look at that. The radio doesn't work. I actually have plans for that guy. I picked something up. Stay tuned for that one. Alright, let's find out what other lights work. Alright, so we have headlights, low beam. Got one over here. Nothing in the bottom. Nothing in the bottom. Nothing over here. We got a tail lamp. Another tail light. I thought that was a snake. Lizard. Looks like we got a good light over here. Both lights are working. A little small light that goes right here is burning out on this side. I know we got a backup light burn out because I seen that when I put this in the day I brought it home. So where'd it go? Oh, there he goes. Alright, so it has been since a few days since the last part that you've seen the Blazer. And so now that it runs and drives and all that good stuff, we're having some issues with, well, temperature's not doing too well. You know, it's staying at like 160, 165. I don't like that. That's not hot enough. Should be like 195, 200. You know, is usually the regular temperature this thing should be idling at, you know, full operating temperature. And then we got idle issues. There's some vacuum leaks. It needs a tune-up. There's some issues with some plug wires like that right there to the coil. That's going to burn up a ignition coil or a module under that distributor. Don't want to do that. So we're going to put plugs and wires in it. I got a cap and rotor button. And I'm going to clean the outer control valve because it's not idling correctly. We'll fix some vacuum leaks that is going on here. Try to go over everything. Even got a fancy air cleaner for it. Check this out. Ain't that cool? Yeah. It may not bring too much horsepower. It's probably going to make it worse if I'm honest, because it's going to suck in hot air. But when you give her the full beans, you're really going to hear that thing open up. It's going to sound like a quadrijet, you know, off of the old 350. And then I got a whole assortment bag full of vacuum hoses, fuel lines, etc., etc., off of vehicles I've repaired before, worked on, whatever. So I got numerous of stuff in here that I can go through to try to fix whatever I need for this. And if I don't have it, then I'll go to the parts store and get it. But I'm trying to save on the little envelope here a little bit. So I'm going to start with the auto control valve. And I take a crescent wrench to get this sucker loose. Yeah, it's very, very, very tight. These things are very normal for breaking off. You gotta be very careful when you're taking these out and putting them back. I have a feeling it's probably really, really black. Oh yeah, that would be some issues right there. Why it don't idle right. So, and this is a little gasket if you didn't know, it's supposed to seal it up, but yeah, that's not no good. So I'm gonna clean that guy up really good. Probably clean the port that's inside of here, because it's, yeah, full of black stuff. And then that should fix the idle issue. If it doesn't, well, I'll just replace it, because it's probably more likely what's wrong with it. Sometimes you can get lucky with just cleaning them. It's all clean now, so yeah, shove that back in. But in the meantime, I thought I would go ahead and do this vacuum hose. It was right here. From right here to here, it snapped right off. And then I happened to notice, oh look, vacuum leak. I mean a huge one right there. Broke right in half. So definitely got some major vacuum leaks on this thing. Old PCV valve. It's like completely gummed up with stuff. Here's a new one. I had my parts stash left over from, like I said, other vehicles that I've had that I didn't use or got the wrong one and didn't want to take it back. So and it saves me money. So this don't even look that old. Heck, it's probably brand new for all I know. And if it is, well, it saves more money back in the envelope for other things for this build. Okay, yeah, I'm changing the cap and rotor button. Wasn't too bad on the outside till you opened up the inside. There's a lot of moisture that got into that distributor. The shaft and everything is corroded with rust from sitting. See what I mean? A lot of rust right there. All that stuff around that is rust. I'm going to try to clean it up with a bristle brush a little bit and blow it out with compressed air just to kind of clean it up some. And the cap and rotor the cap and the inside has got a lot of corrosion. It's a wonder it even ran at all like that. A lot of corrosion. You can actually see it right there. So that little rotor button was really stuck on there. I mean stuck. To the point where it broke. The little piece right here that makes contact on the inside for way up here. Yeah. That broke. So I had to use a flathead and kind of, which I don't recommend, but I had to pry underneath this plate right here and wiggle it all the way until it pops off. I take some memory cloth or SOS pad, I mean not SOS pad, but steel wool or a brush with bristle or maybe a little bit of light grit sandpaper and just go around that shaft that this rotor button sits down on, because you can tell it's rusty and I don't need that sticking again. So to make it easier to put it back on, make sure it's actually flush. Alright, the new rotor button and distributor cap's done. Some vacuum hoses are replaced. Idle control valve's been cleaned. And PCV valve's been changed and cleaned out. So I want to see what it does before I put plugs and wires in it. And I just want to see how it runs real quick, like this. You got a bad Serpentine belt. Yep. Squirt it with water, it shuts up. that's enough of that before it gets too hot and I can't touch it. I'm going to put the plugs and wires in it now, and it seems a little bit better, but you know, you still gotta run it and run it and run it, take it down the road, get it hot, flush that stuff out. It's been sitting for so long. Might need to throw some Seafoam through the intake. Come on. You know you want to focus. Let's go. Anyway, here's the new plug, here's the old plug. The new ones are a little bit longer, the AC Delco CR43TS is what I'm using. And if my phone would focus, you'd be able to see how bad the carbon buildup is. There we go. And there's a lot there. A lot better on the new one. So I got me a borescope. Check this out. This is driver's side front cylinder. I think this is number cylinder 1, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the other. But either way, piston looks pretty good inside. Actually really clean. There is some oil on it. Looks like it's probably burning some oil just a little bit. It's probably the stuff I put in the gas tank. There's the valves right there. They've got a little bit of corrosion on them, so definitely need some treatment done for it. But there's still some cross hatching on the cylinder walls. Yeah, look, they don't look that bad. Other than that, you know, it's not bad. So the middle one on this side kind of finally came out. My hands are completely all dirty. This one took some time to get it out. That probably took 20 minutes of tightening it, loosening it, tightening it, and loosening it, so it finally came out. But well, when it finally came out, you can see the rust all over it, and it looks about the same as the other spark plug did, maybe a little worse at the end. But this is not no good. It broke in half. I'm just, thank God it didn't break off in the head. I was really worried because the threads on this are very thin. So that's why I'm using this stuff right here, some anti-seize lubricant, to put on the threads, the spark plugs. That way they don't seize inside or get stuck anymore. Hopefully help against that rust. This one looks just as good. Same wetness on the piston, you know, for like oil and stuff. Those intake valves though, that does not look too good. There's a lot of buildup, especially that one right here. You can't really see that. I'm just now noticing that. Yeah, camera to camera, that doesn't look good. But in person, there's a lot of like stuff around that intake valve. It's or exhaust valve. I believe that's the intake though, because exhaust valve's dark. Either way, it's one of the valves, and it's got a lot of buildup. So I'm gonna have to throw some Seafoam down its throat today after I do all this and help clean that junk out, which would be why it's running so crappy. Probably help boost the compression a little bit and getting all that debris out of there. But the threads look okay, but they are rusty. So I'm gonna put some anti-seize on it and put that back in. Well, I wished I had this on film. My hand's kind of swollen up from putting it in a certain position I had to do to try to get the spark plug back into the cylinder head. Well, that was not easy. I feel the pain for you four-wheel drive Blazer guys or even pickups, because that's a pain in the ass to try to get that out and back in without cross-threading it. It has to be exactly straight or you'll strip the plug like I did. I actually stripped the one of the new plugs. Whatever I done with it, it's around here somewhere. I'll find it. But I had to come up with a scheme here. So you notice it's higher now. I took the original jack that I got, put it underneath the frame, lifted it. This tire spins. Got to do brakes, but this tire spins, go through the axis panel, and right, well, down in there is the spark plug, and it's in its right position, and it's torqued down to spec with my hand as best as I could get it, just, you know, snug tight. And evidently the guy that done the plugs before had cross-threaded that sucker in there, because when I got it out, that's why I was having such an issue of getting it removed, because it was cross-threaded in. But luckily I got it back in there straight. But if you go back up, you notice the steering arm is right in the way, so you can't get a ratchet in this area straight through to put it back in. You have to take your hand, because I got small hands, and take the socket, take this socket with the one that has the boot inside to hold it, and get it as far as you can out so you have more leverage. You know, just enough to where the spark plug touches these threads. Thread that bad boy in there with your hand, just like this, all the way up in there. Get it straight, and then take the ratchet with this gizmo set up, as you can tell, and then stick it in there just like so. You're not going to get it all the way flush inside that socket. You're going to have it kind of cockeyed halfway in, and this easily go until it's completely tight or snug enough. But that's pretty much how I had to do it, and that was not easy at all. But there's no room up here really at all, but it's in there, it's snug, it's tight, so really I can pull it out now if the boot's not stuck. I pretty much had it like this whenever I first put it in by hand, and then I came up here at the top, took a wrench that would fit my socket, which was 3/4, yeah, 3/4, just like this. Got on it, tightened it until it's finally tight, and then I got it. But my God, man, that's a nightmare. And the boot came off. It's not in the socket. That's not a big deal. There we go. If it wasn't for this guy, I probably would have never got it in there right either, because it kept it centered from moving around into that socket. But yeah. So anyway, that's done. Now I have 4 plugs left still yet to change after an hour of cussing and fighting and arguing with it, trying to do different remedies of trying to get that spark plug back into its hole, because like I said, I stripped it. Whatever I did with it, I might have to go to the parts store and probably get another one. Where is that guy? Right here it is. Come on, focus. The very end is what I stripped. Just the very end. So I'm gonna have to go to the parts store and get another one for this side of the top. Okay, so the next day, and everything is back together now. I didn't really go in full detail, you know, I'm not doing a repair video per se. I'm just bringing you along, bringing this thing back to life with me. Plugs and wires are done, cap and rotor's done, the line to the oil pressure gauge is tightened. It was actually loose on the port down there. That's why it was leaking. But I am going to change it over to a copper line. Don't say nothing. I know that the non-line white clear lines break all the time. So, you know, it's going to get replaced. I just got to go pick up one. Or I might have one in my part stash somewhere that I forgot about, because I do that a lot. But anyway, so vacuum hoses are done. PCV valves changed out. And of course, oil change has been done. It does need fluids changed, like power steering fluid, brake fluid needs to be flushed, things like that needs to be gone over and done. I'd really like to change transmission fluid too, just because of sitting, everything breaks down. I'd really love to have changed that before I ever started it or ever drove it. That way everything that was gritty or nasty, or just anything that was nasty, dropped to the pan. It was all in the pan and I could have got it out instead of it recirculating into the transmission, and then now it's everywhere else. So anyway, I'm going to put some of this stuff in here. No, it's not slipping or having issues, but with mileage, age, sitting, things break down. This stuff helps. Lucas in a bottle. Yes, it's like a Band-Aid in a bottle. I've actually got a bottle of that in there because it's leaking so bad on the transmission. No, it's not the front seal in it. It's the speedometer cable bushing and the linkage for what gear you're in on the side of it. It's pissing really bad, and that stuff slowed it down. Also helped with the shifting a little bit, and of course that's what's in the Celebrity Eurosport. But anyway, I'm gonna fire it up because I know it's about a quart low, and get it warmed up, maybe drive it around a little bit, and then top it off, make sure it's full. And we'll take it on the initial test drive, see how she actually drives down the road. And I gotta get some gas too, because I don't know how much is in there, and I really don't want to run out. And that belt's gonna drive me crazy. Ooh, she stinks. I don't even know how fast I'm going because the speedometer don't work. Nice. And who needs to know? Well, that's pretty good. Not bad. Steering is a little wonky because of the column being all messed up, but I mean, it drives. At least the mileage works. I went 3 miles since I brought it back to life. Wow. This is sketchy. Not gonna lie. Alright. Camera is not having it today. Just not having it. I'm sorry for the crappy footage, guys. Can't really do anything about it with me driving right now at the moment anyway. Blinker don't turn off when you turn left. I have to look into that. Shifting alright, shifting better. I still think it's low in fluid. I only put about a quart in it. And it wasn't even shown on the dipstick after I got it hot and let it run. Alright, so I put some Seafoam down its throat and put the other half of the can in the gas tank. So I'm going to fire it up now and watch this thing smoke like a freight train. Hopefully clean a lot of that carbon off of the valves inside and the piston. Smoke machine. Oh yeah. It ain't chooching yet, so I really give her the beans. Give her the beans. Much coming out of there. Interesting. Okay, so evidently it is evaporated, or I just really need to take it down the road and get on that way, and maybe it'll flush the rest of it out. That's weird. Never had one do that before. Well, cleared out the Seafoam. That didn't take long. Went by the parts store, got a new Serpentine belt, changed out the idler pulleys and tensioner pulley. I actually had two of those in my parts stash at the house, so changed those out, put a Serpentine belt on it, and it's doing fine. The speedometer's working again, but the mileage is not, so at least I know how fast I'm going. Shifting well. I will say it needs some shocks and stuff, but you know, it is what it is. It's sat for a long time. What do you expect? And I got to get that steering fixed. Cruise control works. That's awesome. I got a part stopped by the parts store. At the old graveyard. I don't know why I said parts store. I meant junkyard. But I got to pick up something for the Blazer while I'm here. And I thought I'd bring you guys along. I know you love junkyard stuff like I do. You never know what you find when you come to these places. All kinds of stuff. I'm probably going to go home with something more than I do not need. You know, that's usually the way it goes. That Oldsmobil's still there. The one I stripped the interior out of. Right there it is. Hopefully the Blazer's still here. Uh-oh, I don't see it. Oh no, what'd they do with it? Well guys, looks like that was a bust. The Blazer was not in there. They said it was. I looked everywhere, couldn't find it anywhere, so I don't really know what to say. I might have to go to another one and see what I can find for the hatch that's back there, because all it is that one little clip. It's right there that holds the glass in, so I don't really know. So I guess that's gonna call it. I'm gonna head back to the shop now. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video. It runs, it drives after 7 years. I mean, that's pretty amazing. There's still a whole lot more to do on this thing. I am not done by no means. But if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the bottom. I'll try my best to get to them. And as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. Have a notification bell on so every time I upload, you get the notification. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more content on the Blazer. Catch you later.